If you're in Florida, you're feeling the pain of the homeowner's insurance, and there's a couple bills that passed that are a band-aid, and we're going to talk about why that is a good and a bad thing. There's a little bit of history from this. It's the Home Florida plan that they're creating, and they're re-signing the documentation for this. So let's dive in and explain just the situation that you're really looking at and how this is going to help or kind of help you temporarily. So this is actually a revival of an old program from 2006. Some of you may have seen this before. It's called My Safe Florida Home. And what this is it's essentially a program that does free inspections. Now, the last time they did this, they actually ended up firing the companies that were doing it because fraud became a thing. And that's what's happening in Florida now, is there's a lot of fraud on the roofs. We'll get to that in a second. So the legislative is passing that bill to give about $150 million to that program. You can have up to $10,000 worth of repairs on your home. The thing is, it's not necessarily going to pay it up front. So you're going to have a free inspection. You have to pay to get the repairs done unless the companies out there are willing to take the heat, hold the bill, and then send it to the government, which I really don't think is going to happen. But you can get up to $10,000 credit. It's kind of like a loan, but it's free and it's paid off and you don't owe anything at the end of it. What they're looking for is homes that don't have the correct storm shutters, how to protect from hurricanes, and roofs that need small repairs. That's a really good piece for Floridians, but it's just, once again, a band-aid. What the bill also does is it allows your insurance company, the insurers as they call them, they can no longer deny your house for your roof alone if it's 15 years or older. That's actually a common thing that's happening. You've noticed that a lot of companies are actually going bankrupt in Florida, and they're completely leaving the state because there's no profit. They're losing their money because of all of the claims that they're having. A lot of it's due to fraud. If you got the guy that knocks on your door and says, let me inspect your roof for free, and then they come back and say you need a new roof, when in reality you didn't. They file it on your insurance, and you get a new roof, but you've unintentionally committed fraud. You just don't know it. Now those companies cannot deny you for your roof alone if they're 15 years or newer. 15 years or older, then there's a good risk that they have that the roof might need to be repaired, unless it's the specific type of roof that can handle that longevity. There's some roofs that can go 50 years. So an insurance company is going to take that into consideration, the type of material that your roof is made out of. The other piece is actually a loss to you, but a benefit to the insurance. And this is part of helping the insurance companies relieve some of that stress so that they don't just all leave Florida and say, forget it, I'm out. They're allowing for the roofs not to be a full replacement cost. So what typically happens in Florida is if your roof is 25% or more damaged, there's a whole new roof. It doesn't matter, you're getting a new roof. Well, they've removed that. So if your roof has 25% of damage, they're just going to repair that portion of the roof. They're not necessarily going to take the whole thing off and put a new one on. That's a little bit of a loss to you because now you have two different roofs. They can match them, so that's not necessarily a big thing. And honestly, we're not throwing drones up in the sky to compare each other's roofs, so most people won't care. But it helps relieve the insurance companies so that they're not out of pocketing these $10,000 to $20,000 roofs when they really could have been a $2,000 to $3,000 fix. The $2 billion is also a reinsurance program. So it's essentially the government or the NAIC is saying, we're going to back you up if your company goes afloat. And that's what's happened with 4 of the companies in Florida so far. They've completely gone bankrupt. And if that happens, there's $2 billion sitting in the bank to reinsure them in case of major losses. Hurricane season is likely coming up soon, so that is going to be a claim that they have to file. The requirement for that now is that they're expecting those companies to lower the rates in general. Now that the risk is being pushed back away from them, that's going to lower your cost. It's not just a given to the insurance companies. It's the reason to give you a lower rate, but to back them up. That $2 billion is going to go quick, so that's why I say a lot of this might just be a band-aid. Whether they extend it or not, we'll have to see. It's about an 18 to 24 month project. The other piece, which I think is a very good idea, is they are putting a little bit of funds into preventing fraud. And that's one of the reasons the rates go high, apart from the hurricanes and the weather and all of that, is they're going to prevent fraud in that scenario. How are they going to do that? One of the ways is they're going to limit the amount that a lawyer can charge for a lawsuit. And so they're going to prevent lawyers to go after the little claims and the basic ones that they try to grab at to get these large companies to pay out. Well, now that they're not making as much, they're likely going to focus on different areas, the ones that aren't doing it properly. I'm sure there's a ton of good lawyers out there. Don't hate me or get mad at me because I said that. I'm just reading the legislation that they're putting out. The other way that they're going to prevent this from just going to everybody is if your home is valued over $500,000, so $500,000 or more, you're not qualified for that SAFE program. You don't get that additional up to $10,000 credit in that inspection for free. Now, in some areas, that's actually a negative because in Miami-Dade County, the average cost of a home is over $500,000. So the majority of people in those specific areas that have a higher value home don't qualify. Unfortunately, you've got to out-pocket that cost yourself, or you're likely going to fall into the same scenario that Florida was in before, to where you're going to have the hurricanes come through, you're going to file them, and now you're going to get denied, or you're going to have a lot of problems where they're going to completely drop you, and now you can't find another company to go with. I've had several people on my channel tell me that their rate went from $1,200 to $4,000. And it is just a matter of having one claim or none at all, but the insurance company is losing their shirt. The same falls true for Broward County. They're over $560,000 on average for a home. So you're going to see a little bit of frustration here because a lot of people won't qualify. Just to give you a concept of what we're talking about, an article from Tampa Bay Times actually explained this situation that happened in 2006. This program was originally helping about 32,000 homes. 32,000 homeowners. And today it's only helping about 12,000. So the funds are actually a lot less, about 40% less than they did it in the past, which is a little bit of a negative, but that could be because they're trying to weed out those higher valued homes. One of the other benefits is if you do get into the program and you do have those repairs done, that's likely a discount that you can get on your current policy. So make sure that you contact your insurance to let them know that those have been done. On top of that, if your roof is older than 15 years, that part of that bill is actually explaining that you have at least 5 years of life left in it. The insurance can't just deny you solely on the roof. Now, this is where everybody doesn't love insurance companies, because I'm just going to tell you straight out that insurance companies aren't dumb. They know if they don't like a roof that's 5 years old and they can't deny you for that roof, they're going to come out and inspect your property. They're going to walk around. They might want to see the pipes. They might want to see the furnace. And if there's enough ticks on that little checklist, they're going to deny you either way. So if that's the case for you, make sure that you notice, is there junk in the yard? Is everything in good tip-top shape? Has everything been repaired? Because it's not worth your time to try to go with a company that's just going to turn around and cancel you anyways. Apart from that, they actually also signed an additional bill that is for condominiums. If you haven't seen the news in the past couple years, several condominiums have collapsed, and there's a lot of maintenance that hasn't been done to the building. If your building is 25 years or older, every 3 years you have to have an inspection done. If a condo is within 3 miles of the coastal line, you have to have an inspection done on that building every 3 years. If you are a 3-story or taller building, same scenario. You have to have an inspection done to make sure the integrity of the building is in good shape. The first 30 years, you have to have it inspected once, and then every 10 years after that, you have to have that same condominium inspected as well. That is a good thing for anyone that lives in a condo. The downfall is that they actually are requiring those condominiums to do an inspection on their reserves. So they have to have the funds available to pay for those repairs if they find that those repairs are in need. That means that your association fees may be another increase if the building that you're in isn't in that 2 condition state. Essentially, that is the main piece of the bill that has happened. It is, I think, overall a positive in the state of Florida. It's better than what they've been doing. The next year to 2 years is going to be a little bit more relief, but you are going to still see a lot of those troubles. There are little loopholes that you're going to see in this system that people, if they can prevent the fraud correctly, then I think they're in a good spot. If they can continue that going forward, that will help a lot. Apart from that, helping anyone get the storm shutters fixed and any of that's going to be beneficial as well. The problem that I see is that if the people don't have the funds to pay for it and then get reimbursed, it might not fix the issue. We may still have another issue happening. So it's a part of the economy because the overall economy is struggling. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Is this a band-aid, so to speak, or do you think this will really make a large impact on the actual industry in Florida? Let me know your comments below if you think that this is going to help fix some of those issues. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.